Since August, the city of Brockton has endured an unprecedented spike in pedestrian accidents, including a number of fatalities. About 6 weeks ago, I reached out to Interim Secretary of Transportation Frank DiPaolo and other agencies for their assistance. And as a result of that, we have created a great collaboration amongst various city and state agencies, Massachusetts State Police, along with the Brockton Police, in devising a strategy as to how to improve pedestrian and bicyclist safety here in the city. This culminated with a summit that was held here in City Hall just about 10 days ago, coordinated by Mass Department of Transportation, but attended by the Massachusetts State Police and their accident reconstruction experts, engineers from the Old Colony Planning Council, the Brockton Police Department, a number of city agencies, including DPW, Board of Health, and others. And as a result of that summit, we agreed upon an action plan of more than a dozen steps that can be implemented here in the city to increase the safety for pedestrians and bicyclists alike. And all of these initiatives basically fall under three areas: engineering, education, and enforcement. And all of the initiatives we'll describe for you here today fall under one of those three categories. In terms of engineering, the State Department of Transportation, along with Old Colony Planning Council, has already begun a thorough audit of the streets of the city. They've also been furnished with crash data accumulated by the Brockton Police and shared with the state law enforcement agencies and DOT to identify problem areas. And as a result, we're looking at a number of initiatives working with our local DPW and the Mass DOT in terms of improving signage, markings, signaling, crosswalks. We're even looking at an initiative on parking enforcement in the vicinity of crosswalks to improve visibility for drivers. We are targeting areas around schools where we know that we have about 9,000 students that walk back and forth to school in the city each day. We've also requested, and Mass DOT has begun, a road safety audit of the section of Belmont Street between the entrance to Brockton High School and West Street that has been a problematic area and includes the location of the accident that took the life of Carl Evan Yancey. So in terms of engineering, there's a multi-agency effort going on. Education will take on many forms, both with school-age children and the general public. We are coordinating with Brockton Area Transit on a multimedia pedestrian awareness campaign that will be launched shortly that will include signage on BAT buses targeting pedestrians and drivers across the city. In terms of our partnership with the Brockton Public Schools, we are dramatically increasing our participation in the state's Safe Routes to School program that provides pedestrian and bicycle safety education to second graders. And one of the really unique aspects of that program is they enlist fifth grade students to mentor and instruct second grade students who are reaching out to a couple different age groups at the same time. We'll also be working with the schools to introduce a video contest to middle school and high school age students to create their own videos highlighting pedestrian safety, and the winning entrants will be broadcast here on local cable television with BCA and also through our social media, and when the winners will also earn prizes. The Mass DOT will also partner with us in this campaign by bringing some electronic message boards into the city to carry pedestrian safety messages that will be strategically placed on highly traveled routes throughout the city. We've also, along with DOT, will be, and BAT, highlighting a safety campaign for all of our bus drivers, taxi drivers, school bus operators throughout the city. Education will also, in this awareness campaign, will be multicultural, multilingual, and will include incorporating pedestrian awareness and pedestrian safety into adult ESL classes that are offered at the Brockton Adult Education Center. A lot of our messaging and our awareness campaign will also be broadcast on foreign language radio stations, particularly targeting Cape Verdean Creole and Haitian Creole speaking stations, to make sure that our message is getting out to all communities within the city. The enforcement piece is also very important to us, and we'll be taking a couple of different tacks with that. And I'm very pleased to be joined here this afternoon by both Chief Bob Hayden of the Brockton Police Department and Major Anthony Thomas of the Massachusetts State Police, as those stepped-up enforcement efforts officially began today with a combination of both Brockton Police traffic units and Massachusetts State Police cruisers and troopers being deployed across the city, targeting school zones and high-risk traffic areas based upon our crash data. This is a multifaceted, multi-agency approach that will include, on the Brockton side, adding additional traffic enforcement patrols on nights and weekends, and also walking beats that will have an educational aspect to them in business districts and in high pedestrian areas, where Brockton police officers out on walking beats will interact with pedestrians and bicyclists on a positive basis, reinforcing safe behaviors and handing out educational material to pedestrians here in the city. I think that Chief Hayden, since his arrival, has had a mantra of interagency cooperation in all areas of public safety, federal, state, county, local, and I think the partnership that you see standing up here today between the Brockton Police Department and the Massachusetts State Police is symbolic of that cooperation, and we're very grateful to the State Police for bringing their resources into the city to help us make the streets of this city safer. So at this point, I would like to introduce Chief of Police for the City of Brockton, Bob Hayden. Chief?
As the Mayor has said, the City of Brockton has suffered an inordinate and unacceptable amount of highway, pedestrian, bicycle accidents, some resulting in loss of life. From the Brockton Police point of view, we're an undermanned department. We're going to put all of our resources that we can into combating and heading this thing off, faced eyeball to eyeball. I'm going to implement, starting tonight, increased traffic patrols and increased foot patrols, which the Mayor alluded to. The foot patrols will, in addition to their normal duties, interact with young people in Brockton who perhaps are not using safe practices when out on the streets. As usual, the State Police have stepped up and come to the aid of the Brockton Police Department. I received a call a week and a half ago from Major Tony Thomas of Troop D. He said, Bobby, you guys need help over there, and we're here to help. He's going to speak about what they're about to do to help us, but it's just a common thing. When we're in trouble, we reach out and look to the State Police, and they come in and help us. And I've gone over some of the things that they're going to do for us, and I'd like to ask him to come up now, Major Thomas, to talk about some of the new things that he's going to do here for us with our help.
Thanks, Chief Hayden, and you're not in trouble, and you don't need our help, but we're here to stand alongside you, okay? Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for inviting us today. Troop D and its community action team, the CAT, C-A-T, have had a collaborative partnership with the Brockton Police Department and urban hotspot policing in the city of Brockton since 1995. This action plan, mission objective, as outlined by Mayor Carpenter, while different in police and strategy, traffic enforcement is a critically important part of Mayor Carpenter and Chief Hayden's 3E strategy to address, respond to, and enhance pedestrian and biking safety. The state police are committed partners in helping the Brockton community as it undertakes this comprehensive plan. The state troopers will be assigned 1 or 2 day shifts each week of patrol in the city of Brockton. Their mission is traffic enforcement, high visibility during school opening hours, and speed trap enforcement on designated high-traffic speed roadways in Brockton, working in collaboration with the Brockton Police Traffic Division. Let me talk a bit on personal responsibility. There will be a bright line enforcement action against those motorists using electronic devices, texting while operating their motor vehicles. These electronic devices are being used by the walking and biking community in their commuting travels too. Electronic device usage is contributing to human distractions and is a big reason why motor vehicle crashes, pedestrian and biking accidents occur. We are a commuting public. In whatever mode that takes, we need to be distraction-free. Alert, possess situational awareness of your surroundings, and take responsibility for your individual safety. It will enhance and ensure your personal well-being. We all believe the component of the plan will help change behavior, enhance motor vehicle operators, pedestrian walkers, and bike cyclist safety. The message is clear. We all know that motor vehicle fatalities are down nationally, but data shows us that for the past several years, pedestrian walkers and biking fatalities are rising nationwide. And there are a few reasons for this, many of which Mayor Carpenter and Chief Hayden's action plan will address. Remember these numbers: 75 pedestrian accidents, 7 pedestrian fatals, the troubling fatality of Mr. Yancey, an investigation that still remains active. Unacceptable. In this collaborative partnership, with the support of the good citizens of Brockton, we reverse this troubling trend of pedestrian accidents. The city streets of Brockton can be safer, and we will make them safer with citizen support and participation in these safety initiatives. Thank you.
Thank you, Major. Thank you, Major. And I think it's important to emphasize that the great collaboration that's taken place amongst all the various city and state agencies to form a comprehensive approach. And some of these steps that we're taking can generate immediate benefits in the short term. Some of these other goals are more of the midterm and long-term variety. Even in the engineering standpoint, we're looking for safety improvements that can be made in a short period of time. We're also addressing long-term infrastructure needs to create safer streets, walking spaces, and bicycling spaces here in the city. And I've challenged all the departments here in the city to take a role in helping us address this issue of pedestrian safety. We will have our Department of Public Works proactively cutting back overgrowth, even from private property, in any areas where that overgrowth could interfere with either a driver's view coming around a corner or a pedestrian's ability to walk down the sidewalk and not have to step off the curb to avoid overgrowth. We've looked at immediate traffic markings, working with the state in construction areas. And we saw that done just in the last few days on Pleasant Street that's under construction, but before the final coat is put on, temporary traffic safety markings have been added. So we are looking at all departments in any way that they can contribute towards making the streets of this city safer. We also referenced September 28th when an outstanding young man here from the city was struck and killed on Belmont Street, across the street from Shaw's at the 7-Eleven, Carl Evan Yancey. And all of these tragedies have been troubling, to say the least. I've had some sleepless nights. But probably the accident involving Mr. Yancey is the most troubling because of the fact that the driver left the scene of the accident and has yet to come forward. To this date, we have no witnesses that have come forward, nor has the driver come forward. And it's important that we use these opportunities to remind the public that if they have any information regarding what happened that evening on Belmont Street, even a small piece of information, it's important that they contact Brockton Police detectives with that information. The Brockton Police has text-to-tip capability. If you'd like to send the information anonymously, you can just text to the word crimes, C-R-I-M-E-S, make the first word of your text Brockton, and then provide the information that will come to us anonymously. We also now have Android and smartphone apps, My PD, that are available both on the city website and the Brockton Police website. It can be downloaded to a smartphone or an Android. It will allow you to also submit information anonymously to the police department that way. We have established a Justice for Carl fund, and we are offering $5,000 cash reward to any individual that brings this information that leads to the arrest and conviction of the driver who left the scene of the accident that night on Belmont Street. And I notice we do have Mrs. Ellison here, Carl's mother, and I'd like to invite you up for a moment to say a couple words, if you would, to ask once again for the public's cooperation in helping us to solve that particular accident. Darhl, how are you?
Good. Okay. Thank you for having me, and I'm very happy to see the response that the mayor and the city of Brockton is doing to prevent such tragedies as what happened to my son in September. Awareness, I think, with the pedestrians and the drivers. You know, knowledge is power, so just to be alert around their surroundings. Also, if anyone knows anything, that we don't have any leads on the accident, and you know, somebody knows something. My son didn't die by some reason, you know, and it's very troubling, you know, that justice has not been, you know, he has not received justice. You know, this is what's bothering the most, that I'm afraid my case is going to go cold if somebody doesn't come up and help. So I hope that someone out there knows something, has the courage to speak up and to do the right thing. And again, I thank the city and the mayor for all that they're doing, and the state police. Carl's father was a state trooper many years ago. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Ellison. So again, if anyone has any information regarding that accident on Belmont Street, we do have some information on our Facebook page and our website, but please contact us. Even the smallest piece of information, I couldn't agree more with Mrs. Ellison that someone out there somewhere knows something that would allow us and our law enforcement officials to solve this crime. We may not know the exact circumstances of the accident. We do know for sure that a driver left the scene and has never identified themselves or accepted any responsibility for what happened that night, and we cannot allow that to happen in our city, and I think that is part of this overall campaign. You'll see, I want to thank Major Thomas personally for bringing the CAT team into the city and making a pledge to bring them into the city regularly to help us with the enforcement piece. They were out today. In my opinion, they made a difference today, targeting school zones and high accident incident areas. They're out this afternoon, again targeting school zones, particularly on a day like today with some rainy conditions, even more hazardous for the young people. And also the commitment Chief Hayden has made to increase our own traffic enforcement patrols and to really blend together his philosophies of community policing and proactive policing by creating additional foot patrols in the city, walking in high-traffic areas and in business districts, not just increasing police presence and making the city safer, but they will be proactively observing and engaging with pedestrians and bicyclists, particularly when they see any actions, behaviors on their part that may not be safe. They will have safety information with them that they will hand out. This is not to give a jaywalking ticket. This is to have an educational campaign, interact proactively, teach pedestrian safety out on the streets of our city, and hand out safety literature. And Chief, I want to thank you and commend you for that commitment on Brockton PD's part to help here. I'll tell you that there's an unprecedented commitment of our public safety personnel, our police, our firefighters, the state troopers. I've been at all of these accident scenes, and these are the folks who respond. These are the folks who see firsthand the results of what happens. These are the folks that console the family members when it's bad. And we need to dramatically reduce the incidents, these types of incidents, make our streets safer, and that's what this campaign will do. So I thank you very much for your attendance here. I thank all of the state and local agencies that have made a commitment to the city, our own people here that work for the city that are committed to this, and I thank all of you for joining us here today. Thank you.